Alright, so starting on a 650, is it a good idea or is it not a good idea? I'm going to tell you right now. Woohoo! So you may be looking at this and thinking to yourself, hey, Brap genius, you're not a genius, this is not a 650, what the hell are you talking about? Well, you are right, guys, this is not a 650, this is a 2005 GSXR 1000, but I started out on a 650 class motorcycle, so I want to give you my perspective of what I got from that motorcycle and how I felt it did teaching me how to ride. Now, for most people, a 650 class motorcycle is more than enough power for the street. The top speed on the one I had was like 130 miles an hour. Did 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds. I don't know. I don't remember, but I do know that it was the same 0 to 60 time as a, I think, 2006 Corvette. Because I remember looking up online back when I was looking if a 650 is a good idea or is a good bike to start on or not. Someone said it does 0 to 60 in the same time as a Corvette. Does that sound like a good first car? No, so a 650 is not a good bike. And I completely disagree with what they said in the fact that it's not a good first bike, because in my opinion, it was a phenomenal first bike. So I'm just going to tell you some about that and what I learned. So the thing with the 650, I had a 2009 Kawasaki NInja 650R. I'll throw it up here for you guys to see. It was a beautiful bike. I love that bike to death. But unfortunately for me, the two things that killed me with that bike, for me personally, that was a phenomenal bike. If I could afford to keep that and this one, I would do it. But there's no way that's happening. So, what I ended up doing, let's see if I get respect. Nah, guess I'll go fuck myself. That just threw off my vibe now, man. It's whatever. So the only two things that I did not like about the 650 is that it had sport touring bars, which are basically almost upright bars, which for most people is great. You know, you're more comfortable, you're upright. But I like this very aggressive riding style. You're tucked in most of the time, and you're just always ready just to haul. So that was the one thing. The only other thing was the exhaust. Now, it did sound pretty solid in my opinion for what it was. I had a Yoshimura slip-on exhaust on it, and I will never forget the sound of that. That was my first motorcycle. I will always have that sound in my head. What's up, bro? See, that guy waves to me from across the highway, but the other guy won't say hi as I'm passing him. It's crazy. But anyway, so I really, and like the exhaust was okay, but it's not like that. It's not an inline 4, you know. I love the inline 4s. Woo! Love them to death. I just love that sound. It's my favorite sound, so that's why I wanted something else. It's not even that I needed a 1000. You never need a 1000. You know, if I had a 600cc Super Sport, I think I would be just as happy as I am on this bike. So with learning on a 650, depending on your background, I think it is possibly the best starting bike that you can get. Because there's the 250/300 class, there's the 600 Bros, and there's the 650s. And in my opinion, the 650 is in between the 600, which if you've never ridden anything, I don't recommend starting on. Just because you have no real idea of how powerful it's going to be. You're going to have those oh crap moments a lot. But a 650 has much more power than a 300. I'll make a video about that if you guys want me to. Which bike is the right starting bike for you in general out of those classes. I will do that eventually. But just right now, just talking about the 650, if you have no experience riding, you can still start on that bike. If you've ridden a dirt bike, you could still start on that bike. Depends on how much of a adrenaline junkie you are. You know, you could definitely still start on it if you want to, but I recommend maybe starting on something else, because it just wasn't what I wanted, you know. It was a phenomenal bike. It taught me so much. It really prepared me for this bike, which is a 1000. It's just not what I was looking for entirely in a bike. It was still fun. I loved it to death. But actually, now that I think about it, there was one more thing that I did not like about that bike, and it was the weight. In comparison to these Super Sports, it was a lot heavier. I think the wet weight of that bike was like 475 pounds, and the wet weight of this bike is like 405 pounds. For a 1000, this bike is stupid light, which is why so many people love it. This is a K5, everybody just, you know, if you know, you know, if you don't, look it up. So that was it for me. You know, it was heavy, which makes it harder to turn. It had the upright bars, which makes it harder to turn than a sport bike. It could still do it perfectly fine. You just had to work a lot harder to be able to do it. So when I started on that taught me a lot. This is my old job. So when I started on that 650, it taught me a lot, and it made me actually learn what I was doing. I had to know what I was doing. Whereas even on this 1000, in the turns, now I am not the greatest rider by all means. I have pretty big chicken strips because I can't afford to overdo it and crash because I don't have money for another motorcycle. But this bike is way easier in the turns and so much more smooth in the turns than the 650 was, because the 650 was heavier, and the suspension and the way that bike was just set up was not made to be, you know, racing around corners. It can still do it. It's just made for like longer rides and stuff like that. But like I said, it just was not entirely what I wanted. So in terms of how it taught me, like I said, the weight that it had to it and the ergonomics of that bike really just prepared me for this bike. Oh, that was an S1000 RR, which this bike I started in second gear. What's up, bro? Dude, we all out here today, dog. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Hit that like button. We'll get this video out to more people. Make the Brap gang bigger. Hit that subscribe button, guys, and have a great day. Peace.